Mike and Ben from Royal Blood. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. Um, there's a new album coming out, a new Royal Blood album.
It is.
Please tell me all about it because it's been 3 years since the last record. Um, so it promises to be another another banger. So tell me about the new album. What sparked the creation of the album?
So we played our last show um end like 2 years ago, like end of 2024. Um and we thought it would be a good idea to actually stop and kind of like turn the royal blood machine off for a minute. Um it's something we've never done, we're always rolling straight into the next thing and we've got a plan or we've got songs kind of on the go. This is the first time where I think we both were like it felt almost like a tactic. Like I wanted to stop and kind of feel like the brakes were on, but we can rev the engine. So by the time it came to get in the studio, we were like just full of energy and full of excitement. So we did this right up until the beginning of 2025. I think literally like January 2nd, we were in our studio in Brighton. Yeah, and I think having stopped for like what was it, 4 months or something, yeah, we were just so ready to go and but also had no songs, so had no ideas. It was just we came in with an energy and Ben kicked us off um with this track from the record that was just so fast and just came out the gate so aggressively, and that kind of got me excited immediately. Um, yeah, and it just felt like we were onto something, man. It felt like we were doing something fresh and we were playing heavy again, and it felt really inspired, rather than feeling like something we should do. So it was a really like exciting kickoff, and yeah, we kind of sustained that vibe for all of last year. And it's been a lot of fun.
You also did like an anniversary, edition of the first record. Did that also something to do with the renewed energy for this one?
Yeah, maybe. I think there's songs from that record that I think we're always going to have in our set list, because they're just so fun, and I think we still connect with those some of those songs. So, um, but I think I will say that the first record we made is very much based around it being just Ben and I. Um, and I think there might have been something subconsciously maybe that like bled into this one, but um, I think for us that it has to feel when we're writing, it has to feel fresh. Um, and there was something about playing faster and heavier that weirdly felt fresh to us. I think we realized there was this untapped gear that we hadn't used yet.
Yeah. So when you're going into the studio almost, blind, you have no songs except maybe the ideas from Ben. How do you then come up, or how did that process went? Was that like a longer process than you expected, or was it really, was everything recorded really quickly, or how did that went?
Um, I'd kind of accepted that there might be a solid 4 weeks of just drawing blanks and coming up with stuff that isn't very good, because that can be part of the creative process, I think. Accepting that, you need to sort of just start up again and warm up. But it happened really, really quickly. I think by day two, we had a couple of songs that are on the record, or at least the beginning of them. Um, and I think from that point onwards, it just came more about looking for the right ideas, and making something that, um, yeah, all felt like a real group of songs that all wanted to be friends with each other. I think that bit can take time. Um, and I think as well, the kind of songs that are on the record, you also have to wait to be in a certain frame of mind and a certain mood. So yeah, it wasn't like long days kind of beating our head against the wall. It was more like feeling charged and then just going for it and hoping for fireworks.
Yeah. Ben, how was that process for you when it comes to the making of this new record?
Yeah, really good. I think when, like Mike said, when you go into the studio with a lot of energy, and is that's what this new record kind of reflects. Um and going at the rate of inspiration instead of like just being sat in the studio looking outside and thinking I'd rather be out there. Instead we're looking into the studio waiting for it to open. That's how kind of how we wanted to feel. And so yeah, we I mean we've taken a whole like year and a bit to make it. We've taken our time to really think about what kind of record we want to put out, and yeah, it just came quite naturally in the end. And all these songs that we're writing felt really energizing and were really fun to play again. It was both Mike and I, in the studio writing together again and playing and yeah, making mistakes and having a bit of fun and then correcting them a bit later.
Yeah. So the title of the album is Dead Company. What does the title mean, and how can we like do we have a through line of the record when it comes to it? What does it mean?
I think the record title kind of was almost an accident, really. We tried our hardest to come up with something that wasn't a song title, but I think for us, like that song lyrically and musically as well felt like a the almost like the through line for the record, I think. Um, and when we were coming up with the album artwork, we had that as a placeholder album title because we were still working out what to call it. And then after a while, I'd forgotten that that was a placeholder, and it just looked so good that it almost felt like the album was naming itself. It kind of decided to be called that. But I'm really happy we did because yeah, that song's going to be a real highlight in the set for us live and on the record as well.
So the first single is out right now. It's called 10 over 10. And it feels like really just you guys. But I also hear some like maybe a little bit of Guns N' Roses, a little bit of White Stripes, maybe even in there. It's like you said, it's Royal Blood being really loud, which we like. What can you tell me about the song and the meaning of it? Was it one of the first songs you recorded for the album? One of the later ones?
Probably somewhere in the middle, I'd say, of the process. It started with this kind of like mad um, beat that Ben was doing, and that was the sort of jumping off point. And yeah, it was like very like fast to write, and there was just something that um, yeah, it kind of had this all in energy to it. And I think a lot of the songs on the record have that where it just that feeling of like an energy that's never letting off. And I think that's why the lyrics ended up being the way that they are. It kind of had this unrelenting attitude. And I was actually training for a marathon at the time. So I was it almost became like a bit of a mantra, that song, this like positive affirmation. It felt like a really empowering song. And like Ben was saying, a lot of songs on the record, we were playing together a lot before we recorded them, and I think it becomes very obvious for us once we're playing them in that context.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one just kind of stood out immediately for us.
Yeah.
When I sent Mike the beat for that, I he then I didn't really imagine what he would play over it, and he sent me back that like kind of the 80s like intro riff, and I was like, I would not put those things together. Like that didn't work in my brain. And so I was like, what is this song? And then it
Yeah.
changes. It's like pretty brutal, and it changes so often, and the beat changes, and I was like, is this? I was confused by it at the beginning, and Mike was like, no. go with it, trust me. And and I did, and yeah,
Sorry.
it
It's all my fault, basically.
yeah, it's all yeah. What you're hearing is Mike's fault.
So you're also playing the Lowlands Festival. Um, uh, I guess we can expect something from the new record. Will you be playing something from the new record? I guess so. Are you how much are you looking forward to playing some of the new songs? Because you're also doing a couple of shows in the UK as well.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, everything on this record feels like it's supposed to be played live. That's kind of the point of it. I would say that's almost the point of our band as well. But yeah, we'll definitely be playing some new tunes. If it was my way, we'd only be playing new tunes. But yeah, we'll do a good mixed bag for sure.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much. We're really looking forward to the new album. That company, it's arriving this November. So thank you so much. We'll be playing it a lot here at Kink.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
man. Appreciate it. All the best.